our listeners and viewers out there. Good morning to everybody. What a day, what a day. Nigeria just keeps on giving us contents to discuss.
The country that keeps on giving, but it only reminds me of Ben Okri's The Famished Road. At this point, that's the only thing I can think about, the famished road.
We are very famished indeed.
So, Rotus, this morning, well, oil is the matter right now. The price of petrol likely to go up. We've seen some statements coming from the presidential villa and the NNPCL, as they are known now, first released a statement. Talk to us about that statement, and then we'll go to the villa, and then we'll look at some other variables.
Yeah, I thought it was very interesting. So NNPC saying, they put out the notice yesterday. Well, let's even back up before we get to NNPC. Oil marketers said that fuel prices are likely to rise. Even before they said so, anybody who listens to this show, we talked about oil prices weeks ago and how crude oil was climbing, right? And as a result of crude oil climbing, you would now see the landing cost of fuel rising in Nigeria because we export crude oil, we import refined crude, and of course that takes up a large amount of our foreign exchange, the fact that we have to bring it back into the country. And so you've got two very large determinants for how much you pay for petrol in this country. One, crude oil prices, and two, international, which is priced in dollars, and then two, your foreign exchange rates, right? Now, of course, NNPC, because of the fact that it was under government, gets to imports at an exchange rate we assume was the official rates. But now you are looking at those two factors being the main ones. So with the oil marketers and anyone, I've been talking about crude oil prices climbing, they're about $84, $85 a barrel now. You know, they've gone up, you know, over the last month for a number of reasons. Prices are expected to rise. Now, of course, fuel subsidies have been removed. We've seen two price hikes in the cost of fuel. So, you know, so far that, you know, in the country, people have their disposable incomes have been squeezed. So oil marketers are saying we're going to see a third hike in price. And the labor union said that if that happens, there will be a strike. And then you had the NNPC coming out with this tweet saying, dear esteemed customers, we at NNPC Retail value your patronage, and we do not have the intention to increase our PMS pump prices as widely speculated. Please buy the best quality products at the most affordable prices at our NNPC retail stations. Now, you have to parse those words carefully and not think of NNPC as a regulatory body or anything of the sort. This is a limited liability company that is competing in the downstream sector. And so when you're using words like dear esteemed customers, this is NNPC Retail, that we should keep that in mind. It's a retail company. Right.
But then you and I know that NNPC itself cannot meet all of the fuel demand of Nigerians. So from the statement, it seemed like they are the only source. So that will determine the price. But you know, there are other independent marketers in this market. So why would I go to sleep with this kind of statement and believe it?
Thank you. So I went to see I went to another fuel station yesterday. I just walked there and I asked the attendant, how far are you increasing prices? He said, no, not yet. So that the price increase will come either later this week or next week. And I asked him, how much are we looking at? He said, we're looking at 720 Naira per liter by next week. So NNPC, I mean, I know that they're used as a benchmark, but they are a competitor in the space. For their own purposes, they are free to decide not to raise prices if they want. How that impacts their margins, that's their business. What I really want to see is whether or not other competitors in the space will independently decide whether to hike prices or not, because this is a deregulated market. Now we bring in Aso Villa, which is where things now start to get mixed up now. This is where, so go ahead. This is just
just a moment before we get into the villa. Let's get the listener into this conversation now by letting them know they can be part of this conversation on 0809-444-0981. WhatsApp messages only, 0809-444-0981. Rotus, Asro Villa And then the presidential spokesperson, Oddiri was speaking yesterday, allaying the fears of Nigerians. If we match that with this NNPC statement that there will be, the president has said there will be no increment in petrol price.
And you can't Omas, you can't do that. It's a deregulated market. You just literally just give the perfect example of NNPC, the NNPC retail versus, you said NNPC cannot meet all the demand. There are other players in the market, right? Oil marketers have already started telling us the price is good. Now the presidency comes out and says there will be no price increase. You cannot, in a deregulated market, dictate what people. It's like telling me that I cannot sell shoes. I mean, forget fuel. Take shoes or biscuits or shirts or the headphones on your ears, anything. You can't just come out and dictate to a market. That's how we got into trouble in the first place. And Omas, you know how much fuel subsidy? This is a subsidy. This one, there's a tweet from one of his senior special advisors. What's his name? You can read that tweet if you want. Otherwise, like, what's that?
Okay, yeah, that's Tokwe Ajayi. There is no plan to reintroduce any form of fuel subsidy. There is no condition to support any increase in prices at this time. President Tinubu is convinced, based on information before him, that we can maintain current pricing without reversing the current deregulation policy by swiftly cleaning up the existing inefficiencies within the midstream and downstream petroleum sector.
Omas, there's so much to pick from that statement. It's, first of all, I feel like these folks think they are talking to children. I don't think they feel they are talking to adults. And this is the behavior of governments, where you just think that you can talk down to people that are not intelligent. Look at what he says here. He says, first of all, there is no plan to reintroduce any form of fuel subsidy. The market fundamentals say that the price is going up. So if the fundamentals say the price is going up and you come out and say there will be no price increase, what does that mean? That means that you are going to subsidize the price, because the fundamentals are the fundamentals. Crude oil is going up, your currency is depreciating. Finish.
Forex for the import is not there.
Yeah.
So how do you bridge all of this?
Wait. Before I move to the bridge,
go.
This second part here is the one that really annoys me. Unless maybe he can come out and explain what he said. He said there is no condition to support any increases in prices at this time. There is no condition. What are you telling me? What about crude oil and your currency? And then he says the president is convinced, based on information before him, that we can maintain current pricing without reversing the current deregulation. You are trying to do two opposite things at once. The oil marketers, the people who are in the sector, the players in the sector who do this for a living, are telling you that prices will go up. And then you come out and you say President Tinubu is convinced, based on information before him. What information does he have that the oil marketers do not have? What are you saying? So let's just, to tell people the truth and so that people know what's going on. The president he's backtracking is what he's doing. He has come up with a lot of pressure. Labor unions, Nigerians are complaining. He's reversing his stance. The markets are not going to like this. Foreign investors are not going to like this. I think Eurobonds, Nigerian Eurobonds have been selling on the international markets. It's not. Look, I understand people, the poor need to breathe. I get it. I understand everything. Maybe this thing was rushed, but you do not go back on, because listen, Omas, the challenge here is that once you introduce this thing and you cap prices now, you are putting further pressure on yourself if prices continue to go up.
Because you need to look for means to subsidize it, keep going that way.
Exactly. If you're going to if you do a reform, stick to the reform. Don't go back. You must be bold. You must stay the course, because Nigeria is not in a fiscal position to be subsidizing fuel.
This is where Gbenga Kamu comes in, and it's been following. I just needed you to land on the point, but it goes on Rotus. Whether the price is 800 naira, 1,000 naira, we are in it together, because things are going to get heated for the government. We can discuss statistics and figures all we want. People are falling into poverty every day. And it goes on, in any market, deregulated or not, the government can intervene at any time, not even in the bastion of capitalism that is America. Government not allow matters to run wild. That's according to Gbenga Kamu. And next one here from Taufik, Rotus don't vex this morning. I like the fire. That's someone who sent in a message this morning. And then this one, Atayo says, whatever we do affects us all. Adam Soshomole is using style to give this administration that initially said that one hit the ground running, now says it inherited a poor economic situation. We are just floating without direction. Let's stop there and let you move on with this point.
No, Omas, look, I drive an SUV, all right? I drive a Jeep. I used to fill up my car with 15,000 naira. Now it costs me 50,000 naira to fill up my car. Do you think I enjoy doing that? You think I enjoy paying 50,000 that I can use to go and buy stocks or go and put in something else to fill up my car? It hurts me. It hurts my pockets. I can't afford to be paying fee, but I know that I have to pay it because my country cannot afford it. You know, look, so anyway, see, I don't know. At this point, where Nigeria goes from here is anybody's guess. Where you get a loan or I don't know, but this just doesn't look good. This backtracking, giving into, yeah, it just doesn't look good.
Rotus, but then there are someone who argue that our fellow African brother Kenya at some point, you know, went this route of no subsidy removal, but they are back to partial, subsidy right now. So what's if this is the argument too?
Fine. Yeah, and that is a fine argument. William Ruto, the president, came into office. He immediately removed subsidies. Kenya has been without fuel subsidies for when the Ruto entered office. It was not earlier this year or sometime last year.
Yes.
They've been without subsidies for months now, consecutive months. It's only now, after about, I think it's about 6 or 7 months, I'll go back and check. But even if you say it's it's going to be about 6 or 7 months since he entered office that he removed subsidies. Instead, he said he was going to subsidize fertilizer for food and other agricultural products. That's what he said. But you cannot compare, fine. So they reintroduced subsidies. And what they said is that they will not increase the price and leave it there. No problem. But Nigeria is not Kenya. Kenya has a population of 50 million people. That is basically the population of, you can take Kano and Nigeria, and that's the population, Kano and Lagos, and join them together and you can get Kenya. So you are not, a population of 50 million people versus a population of 200 million. You can't compare. Nigeria's debt is way higher than Kenya. Nigeria is spending more money on subsidies than Kenya. You can't be comparing yourself. I get the argument, so you have to help people. But Kenya, by the way, Kenya has fuel taxes. Kenya has property taxes. I talked to an analyst in Kenya who told me and Kenya got loans from the IMF. Right? Nigeria has been too proud to go to the IMF. So Kenya has either moved, I heard they moved money from their property taxes or they reduced fuel tax. They moved money around to support the subsidy thing. And they've done things that Nigeria doesn't have. So to compare us to Kenya is not wise.
Rotus, we have to go, but messages, you must hear what they've come for you. Good morning, guys. You people amaze me to think that fuel subsidy is gone. No, it has not. What we have experienced is subsidy reduction, and the president's statement yesterday alluded to this. The most unfortunate thing is that will happen is to increase subsidies at this elevated fuel price and now tell us that there is no money to actualize the fruit of a liberalized market. That's according to Frank. Benga Kamu pops in with this one saying, I am annoyed that we continue to discuss this fuel matter when fundamentally we should not be importing fuel. That is the real problem, Benga Kamu insists. If Kenya can backtrack and they don't have crude oil, Nigeria, uncle, that's what Benga Kamu has to say. So what say you, Rotus?
No, I get where he's coming from. We have to fix the refineries. We have to make sure we stop importing fuel. But, you know, the sooner we get that, the better. Dangote refinery, I hope it comes on stream. Yes, I get it. You know, that has just has to happen. But again, one thing to remind people, even if all the refineries are working, you will only get a marginal reduction in the price of fuel at the pump because the key ingredient or the key cost metric is international crude oil prices in dollars. So even with and America has like 300 and something refineries, and they are still worried about crude oil prices, and they pump like 12 million barrels per day. So you are subject to international prices, and that is the main cost metric for fuel.
Okay, and final, this message, Olalekan O says, I wrote to the government might subsidize FX to NNPC to maintain current PMS prices. And then Rahman Uyebanji comes up with a final message. Good morning, Smooth FM. The issue is the palliative measures not yet in place after 3 months of removal. That's where
Excellent
we are.
Rotus,
thank you so much this morning.
Omas, thank you so much. Thanks to everybody that sent messages. Nigeria continues to amaze. Nigeria, we hail thee.
On the Famish Road. And for those who need to catch up this conversation, if you missed it, you need to go over to our YouTube channel. You can catch all of this and more there. It's a good morning to you, Rotus. And thanks to everyone who sent in their messages this morning.